starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Columbus city leaders are taking action to help prevent the spread of coronavirus in the city.
The city will remain open and continue normal operations. However, Mayor Robert Smith has a few recommendations for residents. Smith is asking people to refrain from large indoor gatherings of more than 50 people. The mayor is suggesting people use takeout orders instead of dining inside at local restaurants. He's also recommending churches with congregations larger than 50 use electronic means to conduct their services.
From a health and safety reason, I would strongly encourage all of our citizens to take all the necessary precautions that are available for their safety and health.
The mayor is not making any recommendations right now regarding gatherings and nightclubs or the Trotter Convention Center. Those issues will be addressed at Tuesday's City Council meeting, which will be closed to everyone except media. It will be available, however, for live streaming.
Columbus and Lowndes County declare a local state of emergency. Elected officials met with State Department of Health, first responders, and emergency management today. Lowndes County's pandemic plan is in place. Health officials stress setting up an appointment to be tested. Those tests are sent off for confirmation. The tax assessor's office is asking residents to conduct business by mail or its drive-through window. First responders will soon be implementing a plan for answering calls to determine if a patient might be infected before arriving on scene.
And let's take a look at some of the latest numbers across the state. 2 new cases of coronavirus were reported in Mississippi today, and one of them is right here in North Mississippi. According to the State Department of Health, the new cases were reported in Monroe County and Pearl River counties. They were identified today, and that brings the state's total confirmed cases now to 12. There are cases also reported in Copiah, Forest, Hancock, Hinds, and LaFleur counties.
Across the state line in Alabama, there are now 29 confirmed cases of coronavirus as of today. The latest case is in Montgomery County. There are 3 in Tuscaloosa County and 17 in Jefferson County. That's where Birmingham is. Governor Kay Ivey issued a state of emergency last Friday after the first confirmed case was found. All public K through 12 schools in the state are closed until for 2.5 weeks starting March 18th. Ivey is also giving state agencies permission to allow their employees to work from home.
All right, class is not in session for the Columbus Municipal School District, but administrators and teachers want to help students stay sharp while they're away from the classroom. Yeah, online courses will be available in addition to academic packets. WCBI's Bobby Martinez visits Columbus Middle School today, where teachers are preparing those packets. He joins us live in the studio with more. Bobby?
Joey, the plan is to make sure students remain busy during this time off. And while many students may think of this as an extended vacation, teachers say students will be tested to make sure they use this time off wisely.
I just think we have to take it one day at a time.
That is the game plan moving forward, says Superintendent Dr. Cherie Labat of the Columbus Municipal School District. Class will not be in session for an unknown period of time due to the coronavirus. Labat says despite students not being able to physically attend school, they still will have work to do.
We have a list of online resources that's on the website. We also have put the information on our Twitter and Facebook account. We're preparing packets for those students that don't have internet access.
Carla Henry, English teacher at Columbus Middle School, says the courses and packets will consist of various school subjects.
They will be using the iReady online program. The English teachers have also decided to let the students use an EduSite online program. And in addition to that, they will also be working with packets that we have prepared in ELA, math, and science.
Educators know that some students may not be able to take part in these online courses.
For those students, we'll just catch them up. We're going to grant grace because everybody may not have the online capabilities at home. Everybody may not have access to the different resources and materials, and so we're going to be graceful in that regard.
Cresta Kane, physical education teacher at Columbus Middle School, says the school will do all they can to make sure students are using this time off productively.
We as a school have to make sure that we stay in contact with our kids, find ways to do that, whether it's online through our district websites, through social medias. We do have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram accounts, reaching out to them as much as we can, just letting them know that, you know, we are here, we support them. We'll do whatever we can as teachers to reach out and just help them.
Teachers also want to make sure parents are doing their part by having their child take time out the day to study.
All right, Bobby in our studio with that story. Even though schools are out, students can still fuel up. The Columbus School District will continue to serve breakfast and lunch to students. If you are a student and looking for a meal, you can head to Columbus High School or any of the school campuses between 7 and 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. The food service team does not want students to go throughout the day without a meal.
That's the reason why that we doing this here, because some of them are left at home by themselves, and maybe, you know, and some of them just out running around. So it's just the idea that we know how hungry kids is. So that's just a good thing that we can do for them.
Right now, school district officials are not sure when schools will reopen.
Now, almost every school in our viewing area has closed its doors to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Now, a supermarket is stepping up to help parents during the day.
Our Stephanie Poole stopped by Vowels Marketplace in Starkville. She joins us in the studio with more on what the store is doing to help families there. Stephanie.
That's right. The people who work at Vowels are rolling up their sleeves and pulling food off the shelves to provide breakfast and lunch for students. Today, more than 80 students were fed, and employees are certain those numbers will grow. These students are in line for lunch, but their cafeteria looks a little bit different. Due to the recent school closings, Vowels Marketplace in Starkville is footing the bill for breakfast and lunch for school kids.
It's real good. It's helped out a whole lot, and I feel like that's a blessing for them to give to the kids, and they is pretty happy. They love it, and it's really nice.
Peggy Macon says she was blindsided when she found out her children's school will no longer be open. That's why she's grateful to have this program help her family along the way.
It do get hard out here now. Whatever you need, I'm gonna be in there for the taking. They're giving out a blessing. It should take it. Y'all come on up here and get it.
Jessica Holmes is the deli bakery manager. She says the store wanted to provide the same nutritional meal kids would receive as if they were in school.
We gave the kids sausage biscuit, an orange, and apple juice, and for lunch they're going to have peanut butter jelly sandwich, apple, and a juice as well.
Over 60 lunches were prepared for lunch, and in just 6 minutes, there were only a handful left.
A lot of people depend on the schools to feed their children, and with the kids not being in school, it puts a bind on some of us parents. Or how are our kids going to eat? What are they going to eat today?
It's not something that some people probably say what they don't want to do, but you know, we need it. It's not shame, or if you need help, it's best off to go and get it while you can.
Holmes says Vowels will continue to help families in the area.
We have a lot of people that shop in and out of the store. We have a lot of students, we have a lot of parents, we have a lot of kids. We just felt like this was our way to give back just a little bit in order to support the community while the community supports us.
This feeding program will run for the remainder of the week. Breakfast will be served from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and lunch is from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
Eating out at a restaurant is going to be a little different. Starkville city leaders are planning a temporary to-go system for restaurants on Main Street and in the Cotton District. Businesses will provide a curbside food delivery for customers instead of having them come indoors. This will go into effect this week, and we will have information about the system as it's released.
2 large events in Monroe County are postponed due to the coronavirus. The organizers of the Amory Railroad Festival today announced that they will postpone that event. Postponement dates are being discussed, but future plans are not yet set in stone. The festival is exploring options. Meanwhile, the Aberdeen Pilgrimage organizers there will postpone its event as well. It was scheduled for April 3rd through the 5th. The Boy Scout breakfast will continue as a carry-out event only.
Count wings over Columbus as another casualty of COVID-19. The event was scheduled for April 25th and 26th on Columbus Air Force Base. Air Force officials sent notice over the weekend notifying airmen that it was suspending outreach activities through May 15th. This is for every Air Force base in the country. Wings over Columbus last flew over Columbus in 2018. The famed Thunderbirds were grounded during that event. There's no word on if or when the show might be rescheduled.
Right now, we turn our attention to weather, and you can see some clouds in place. Temperatures have warmed into the 60s and 70s. Some of us getting into the low and mid 70s out there in Louisville. How about that, 75? And we do have some cloud cover out there, but a little bit cooler in Corinth at 52, 80 or so south of Columbus. So temperatures really all over the place. Now, we do have some showers out there. Most of us just dealing with the clouds and gloomy conditions, rather. We'll come on into where we have the steadier batch of rain here from just south of Holly Springs to Ripley to Boonville to Iuka. And this has been pretty persistent here this afternoon. We'll just keep a chance of some showers going through this evening and tonight. Most spots probably won't see it. Overnight lows get down into the 50s. Tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day, variably cloudy, maybe a shower. We are in the 70s. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Alabama's latest unemployment numbers remain at historic lows, but local levels crept up a little bit. The January numbers are holding steady at 2.7%, which is the same as it was in December. Lamar County's unemployment is at 3.3%. That's an increase from the month before. Pickens County is sitting at 3.6%, which is also an increase. Wage and salary employment saw gains over the past year. Building, construction, and motor vehicle manufacturing employment saw the biggest gains.
Volunteer organizations are feeling the strain of the coronavirus too.
We have some information on how you can help out. One of them when we come back. The coronavirus outbreak is taking its toll on volunteer organizations. The Starkville chapter of Habitat for Humanity typically has groups of college students who spend their spring break helping with construction. Habitat officials say travel restrictions have forced most of those groups to cancel this year. Now they're asking the community to step in. They're asking anyone over 18 who is physically able and can volunteer for a day or more to call the Habitat office during business hours.
We're suddenly 2 weeks behind what the plan had been to begin with. So that's why we're calling on community members. I'm grateful. This town, this city, these people have been wonderful advocates for what we do to put deserving families in homes that they own.
Now, Brazil says the organization hopes to have this home finished before the end of June. You can get more information on how you can volunteer by calling 662-324-7008.
And the rain did hold off, so it was a good day to be outside.
Yeah, rain chances still with us, but on the lower end of the spectrum, so that bodes well for building the homes there, and also any outdoor activity here, maybe in your backyard to get some mowing done, some yard chores here for your Tuesday in the 70s. Can't rule out a shower or two, but most of us will not see any rain. I'm back with that full forecast coming up.
WCBI First Alert Accuweather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Tomorrow, of course, St. Patrick's Day. Time to look back at the extremes in the Columbus area. The warmest, 88 back in 1908. The coldest, 26 for a low in 1916. The wettest, 2.45 inches, 1925. For you in Tupelo, much the same. The warmest in the 80s, 83. Back in 2012, remember how warm that March was? Absolutely insane. Columbus, or the coldest in Tupelo, 24 degrees, 1976. The wettest, 1980, with just over 2 inches of rain. We mention that because we have a mild day on tap for our St. Patrick's Day this year, but we will be sandwiched in between the extremes. Maybe a few showers. Temperatures will be in the 70s, not the 80s in most spots. And overall, a fairly tame day for us here. But we'll start out in the 50s. We will be warming up into the 70s in many locations. I do suspect that the southern tier could be flirting with the upper 70s to around 80 degrees, a little bit cooler upper 60s to around 70 for you in New Albany. But this is how it looked in Louisville, Mississippi today. Our Alpha Insurance Camera Network, our time lapses here showing the clouds and the sun developing here, and some clouds this morning in Columbus giving way to a little bit of sunshine as we went throughout the course of the afternoon hours. Now those clouds filling back in. We do have some showers here just south of Holly Springs, north of Oxford. This narrow little band goes between New Albany and Ripley over to Boonville and Tishomingo and Iuka, Tishomingo County there. You can see this little narrow band right there. That's really about the most active weather we have in the region right now. More clouds than anything else. 50s north where we have the rain. 60s, 70s, and 80s across the southern tier of the area. Rain chances will be fairly minimal here through Thursday. perking up a little bit Friday with a cold front, and then we'll tail things back down a little bit for the weekend. So not an all-day washout on any of these days. Friday, the only one that could be rather wet here. So as we get into your Tuesday, notice how variably cloudy, not a lot of moisture expected. Same story into your Wednesday and probably Thursday too. We mentioned Friday, here comes that frontal boundary, and we will have a slightly better chance for some showers and storms. And just looking at all of the information, considering how active mid-March can be with tornadoes and severe weather, it doesn't really look like we have a lot of that coming our way. Friday, maybe some heavier rain and storms, but the signs just don't really suggest any major severe weather outbreak around here anytime soon. And considering all of the stuff happening right now, that's
the best news I've heard
last
today.
thing we don't want to have. So that's perfect.
Yeah, only one black cloud on that 7 days. So that's
Friday, okay, but overall, you know, we're doing okay, and temperatures are warming up. If you like it springy, well, now's your time.
Great, fantastic. Well, the future of high school sports in the spring now becomes uncertain. The latest on another day full of postponements. That's next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Mississippi high school sports becomes the latest to join the long list of postponed or canceled athletics in our area. The MHSAA making the decision today to suspend all athletic activity through March 29th and until further notice. In a press release, the MHSAA stating that each sports championship event is being reviewed and possible action could come in terms of new dates and venue sites. The suspension includes fine arts activities as well as practices. Local head coaches around our area say it's a difficult time to be leading the program.
You got so many kids that have given everything they could to the program, and for that to even be cut short, even if we were to pick back up, it's heartbreaking for those guys because you can't recreate that. You can't make it up.
It stinks for the kids, especially your seniors. Because, I mean, there's no extra year of eligibility in high school sports. The one senior we have this year, Jasmine Rogers, man, one of the best kids you'll ever meet, this is it for her. And we had a really good team. Actually, this is probably one of the best teams I've had since I've been here. I thought we had a good chance, you know, to make a run. So I'm hoping they'll limit this thing to a couple of weeks at least or something.
It's tough for us. You know, obviously, I think every coach will tell you this. We really don't know what to do. All we're doing is sitting and waiting like everybody else, and we can't practice. We can't play. I'm not at work. It's just a complete waiting game. And so, you know, other than that, we don't really know what to do. That's the biggest thing. I wish we had a plan. If I knew we were going to play in a month, and I tell our guys, hey, practice will start in 2 weeks, and we'll get ready. But at this point in time, we just don't know. And so I guess just like you guys, all we can do is sit and wait.
The NJCAA officially cancels all spring athletics for the 2020 season, as well as the upcoming basketball championships. The original plan set last week was for decision makers to reassess the future of JUCO spring athletics on April 3rd. As reported last week, no spring student athletes will be charged a year of eligibility. The NJCAA will also look into expanding allowable letters of intent for spring athletics over the next 2 years. As we wait patiently to see what the future of SEC spring athletics will be, the conference releases its Players of the Week from the Diamond, hopefully not the last. Ole Miss's Tyler Keenan named Player of the Week for batting .714 with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs against Louisiana Monroe last week. Keenan leading the SEC in RBIs this season. Mississippi State closer Spencer Price named Pitcher of the Week for his perfect innings in 2 appearances against number 3 Texas Tech last week. Price yet to give up a single run in the 2020 campaign, and Ole Miss's Hayden Dunhurst named co-freshman of the week, batting 4 for 5 with his first career multi-home run game last Wednesday against the Warhawks. The SEC has postponed spring athletics until at least April 15th. The NFL officially back in the news. Pair of former Bulldogs staying right where they're at for now. Houston native Chris Jones receiving the franchise tag from the Kansas City Chiefs, and Dak Prescott also receiving the franchise tag from the Dallas Cowboys. Free agency in the NFL beginning on March 18th. So those guys, well, the franchise tag has been placed, and we'll see what happens a little later down the road in terms of long-term extensions.
That means they stay put for now.
Stay put for now and get a nice little paycheck now, thanks to those franchise tags.
Yeah, big news for them.
Yep.
Cool. All right. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
A few showers possible over the next few days, but really not a lot of rain through Thursday. We warm up into the 80s. Friday, a better chance for some rain and storms, and then cooler weather for your weekend. But overall, I think we're doing okay for the next 7.
I like the prospect of getting a little bit of sunshine every day for the next 7 days.
Better than those black clouds.
It is better than the black clouds.
All right, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.